Hi, it's me again, Dr. Kathy. Alrighty, so today we're going to talk about, does size matter? Okay, now, many years ago, eons ago, I used to think that size mattered. Now, yes, size matters, but there's a big BUT, but it depends, right? Okay, so whenever that question is brought up, does size matter? The first thing you want to know is, what is your size? And this is for men and it's for women too. Okay? So I came up with this way of measuring women and men. We know the men. But to measure women, I've got two ways of doing it. First of all, you want to know how deep, how long, how much you can accommodate in terms of length and girth. Okay? So here we go, guys and gals, right? You both want to know this. To know how long you are, take a ruler, simple plastic ruler. If you want to put a condom on it, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, take a ruler, clean ruler, insert it into the vagina, and see how far it goes and measure the length. Okay? That length, you can probably add about an inch because during sexual intercourse, it will balloon, it will expand. So the important thing is just to know exactly how much you can accommodate when you are aroused. So I'll get that measurement plus an inch or a centimeter and a half, and sort of guess that that is a sort of uh, length that you can accommodate. Width, I call it my V test. My V test is where, in the women again, men can do it, women can do it, but I ask my women to do it first, so you're not shocked. Doesn't matter the age, except, okay, this is all for adults, consenting adults having sex, not for the young kids below 18. So for the women, ladies above 18, I have the V test, where you take your fingers, your two fingers, your index and your middle finger, you go into the vagina, and I know some ladies hate putting their fingers in the vagina. Get used to it, it's yours. Get to know it, get to love it, right? So you put your fingers in, and if you have any problems, by the way, let me know, let a doctor know, they can help. Put your fingers straight in, and then open up those fingers into a V. You want to know how far you can open. Typically, you don't want to open much, right? You want to just maybe a little bit, right? But when you've had kids, you're opening up a little bit more than you really should. So that is where you want to know how much you can take in terms of girth. And remember, you don't want it too wide, because if it gets too wide, then the man cannot be gripped properly, right? Or the instrument that's in there cannot be gripped properly. And again, that's where Kegel exercise come in, and we can talk about that later on. But right now, in terms of girth or width, how much you can accommodate in terms of girth, just, sort of like do that, see, the measurement there, come out, measure it, and then approximately, and this again is just my personal, no medical literature on this, my personal idea on how you can measure the width of the penis, right? And then you'll know what can satisfy you, all right? Now, when we're being particular in terms of length and girth, it can vary. We both know that the penis itself can enlarge, and there are different types and sizes of penises, but you really want to have an idea, meaning, yes, if I could, I would invent a tool that I would put on your hand and it will tell me your length and your girth. Yes, I think I've become a zillionaire with that, right? I would love a tool that I'll just tap and I'll know instantly. So I'll know whether to waste my time or not. Now, when I say waste my time, I mean like you got to be within certain measurements, right? For me and for most women, because we don't want to be disappointed. Now, yes, women can disappoint men too in terms of our size, but for women that are very long or very short, you want to have an idea before you go into the bedroom, right? So again, for length, ruler, width, girth. Okay. Now, men, you are easy to just take a measuring tape and measure how long you are, flaccid. That means not aroused or aroused. And then you can turn it, take the measuring tip around and find out how you are, flaccid and when you're aroused. So that's easy for you, but for us it's more difficult. Now here's the point. It depends on each person's sensitivity, the muscle tension, the lubrication that is involved when you're having sex. And yeah, we're talking about sex, right? We talked about sex yesterday. So this is a continuation into sex, okay? So I want my guys to know that your size matters, but what really matters is how you use it, okay? So do not get discouraged. Doesn't matter how long or how short you are, even though I know when we go into the micro penis, we start having some issues. But even with the micro penis, there are women that would like that and prefer that. You just have to find them that have a smaller vagina opening and length and width. Again, that tool, man, you guys should contribute so I can get that tool made, right? But in that way, you'll be able to know who will not complain and who will not be disappointed. But at the same time, if you're an average penis, which is about 4 inches to 5 to 6 inches, again, some people want longer, some people want thicker. You really want to just, first of all, find out how to use it. And I'll tell you one big secret, right? Okay. Now, this is the secret that I want you all to know. Now, again, my secret, not in the books. This is something that I found out and discovered with experience with patients, right? Okay, here we go. Number one, you must be lubricated, okay? Now, women lubricate differently. We all know that. Some more than others. And yes, those that are drier definitely want to have more lubrication, and those that are a lot wet want to have a little bit less. You don't want to get too much in terms of wet because it'll just glide in and glide out. But I have a very unique combination of oils that you can call me later on and talk about it. But it really helps when it comes to drier vaginas, right? Vaginas that don't produce as much secretion or lubrication, okay? Now, again, hormones need to be checked, hormones need to be, measured, and we've got to find out other reasons that might make you dry. Again, you might have pain, you might have some medical illness that's doing this, but remember, the lubrication can be improved by balancing hormones and by using some oils like this, okay? Now, when you're using this, typically when you're using a condom, it doesn't go well with condoms because they want water-based lubrication, so you can use your KY jelly, etc. But for those that are in intimate relationships where they're not using condoms and they're not depending on protection in terms of pregnancy, remember that you have these oils that can actually help naturally give you lubrication. And it doesn't stain the bed sheets, it doesn't make the intercourse uncomfortable, like drying up and leaving crusty stuff on the skin or on the bed. So instead, this oil, again, it's my sex oil, okay? Dr. Kathy's sex oil. It comes in different flavors, and I now have a new line for these oils called aphrodisiac oils. So they have great smells that will turn you on a little bit, some of them a lot, but most importantly, they actually help lubricate and help the sexual friction reduce so that you are really not feeling uncomfortable, man or woman, and the men love it too. So guys, you guys should pick that up as a gift too, okay? So I keep that there because I want you to know, first of all, lubrication is key. I'll say it again, lubrication is key. And I'm not gonna go into the squirters, I'm not gonna go into those that make excess fluid, but I know men love that generally, and some men don't. I've heard men say they don't like that. But if you want to learn how to squirt, that's going to be in a future discussion, right? But yes, people can learn how to ejaculate fluid, female ejaculation. Right now, we're talking about making it easier in terms of sexual intercourse, health-wise, improving the sexual function, and knowing the size. So when you know that size, you'll be able to sort of like identify who can hit that spot. Now, what spot do I mean? Yeah, the G spot in women, the P spot in men. Okay, I always talk about that, the P spot in men and the G spot in women. But here's the thing. Where is the G spot? Does anybody know? I do. It is about an inch or an inch and a half in the vagina up. Okay? And when you feel it, you're going to feel this soft area that just tends to be a little bit different from the rest of the vagina. All right? So, again, G spot in women generally are up in the vagina about an inch and a half from the opening. Okay? And then you press. Now, that G spot is crucial. When we have children, the G spot expands and gets stretched, right? Because when the head goes to the vagina, and I know vaginal deliveries are supposed to be the best, right? Okay, all right, I'm a doctor, yes, but darn, does it change the anatomy, right? Sometimes I think, man, if I could do it again, would I have vaginal deliveries? And the answer is maybe not, because it does stretch and basically move the G spot, and that G spot becomes sort of like not as sensitive, not as potent like before having kids, right? So no, I will not say to have a C-section, but those that have C-sections and never had um, vaginal deliveries, yes, I'm jealous of you, fine, right? Because you guys have very tight vaginas, which is important because again, that G-spot is intact. And of course, the muscles are also intact and not stretched. But either way, you can fix it, guys. Even when you do have vaginal deliveries, you can get some Kegel exercises going. Remember, I believe in Kegel exercises as soon as you can. Once you have a baby, even before that, do the Kegel exercises. We'll talk about that later on too. And you can have some instruments that will help go in and help you do Kegel exercises and help tighten the vagina also. And it will also help in terms of your orgasms, in terms of your rhythmic contractions, and what orgasms in the future too. My favorite topic. So when you are having that firmness, because you want to have that concentrated area called the G spot. So my men, I don't care what size you are, the game plan is to find that G spot. And yes, I do have some women that prefer to be hit at the cervix, right? So the further away the cervix, the harder it is to hit, right? That's why that size does matter for some people because they want that cervix hit. But even if you can't get the cervix, aim for the G spot, right? It is an inch and a half right in front of you at the top. How do you locate it, guys? How do you locate it, girls? Because you need to show your guy where it is and just guide them in and he'll be able to know where it is, right? With the finger, he can learn. Also, depending on the position, depending on the curve of the penis, they can actually get into that G spot easily, depending on how they're shaped. So I don't care what shape you are, guys. Aim for the G spot. Now, how do you get to the G spot? The G spot is generally when the woman is on her knees. That's doggy style, right? Again, it depends on the shape of the penis. You can get there that way if you're curved upwards, right? If you're doing missionary, you're curved upwards, you can get it that way. But most guys are not shaped that way. They actually can go straight at an angle and hit it. So it doesn't matter whether you're on the side, whether you're standing, whatever you're doing. You always want to make sure that you are hitting that area, the G spot. And don't forget, the clitoral stimulation is important to go with it so that it can work hand in hand and get that clitoris nicely aroused and engorged while the G spot's being hit also. Okay, so the key is to hit both areas, G spot and the clitoral stimulation at the same time. And yes, guys, I encourage you strongly, if you can, if you're able to, maturely do both. Massage and touch the clitoris while getting into that G spot. I don't care whether you're using your hands, fingers, toys, just whatever you have to do, just find it where that G spot is and learn how to arouse her using that G spot with your fingers and again with anything else like instruments if you want to use toys. But again, with consent, everybody with consent, this is for adults. So hitting that G spot is going to increase the likelihood of her having that arousal. And then your size doesn't matter, okay? That's the whole point of this discussion. Does size matter? Yeah, but what matters more is how you use it. How can you get to that G spot? How can you arouse her consistently aiming for that G spot? So the question is the G spot sensitive? And you might not know, who you're with, but that would be my first question and my first place to sort of like start when you're thinking of penetrating. Where is that G-spot? And you can use the fingers first of all to find out, like I said earlier, or you can just guess it and go in and try and find it with, again, your genitals or your penis. But the most important thing is, where is it? And she will tell you. She's got to tell you. Ladies, tell your men where it is, please. If you don't know where it is, find me, find a doctor like me, and I can show you exactly where it is, okay? All right, so that is the first tip. Does size matter? Yes, but if you can find that G-spot, it doesn't matter, because yeah, you got it right. Now, that's the first thing I wanted to tell you in terms of the G-spot. But how do you get to that G-spot if you're not hard? You gotta be hard, guys, right? Now, I have a tool which you guys might have heard of, and it's the pump. Woohoo! So, the pump comes in different sizes and shapes and different makers, manufacturers. And so this is one of my simple ones, right? Okay, now I know you're gonna say, why am I talking about a pump? Okay, this is why. Remember I told you about that little secret I found out? I found out that I used to think this is for guys that have problems getting that erection. I do enlarge the penis. I can enlarge the penis with different methods. But the most important thing is, even without any procedures, you can enlarge your penis just by doing the pump. Go figure. Yeah. Now, what do I mean? I really mean that for minutes a day. Again, you might want to ask for some supervision from your primary care doctor. Make sure that you're okay to do this. You can actually use this pump for 10 minutes a day. Okay? And you increase the pressure. I normally recommend, I believe it's to the gauge, number 10, so that it's not too painful. Now, some guys go higher, some guys go lower, so see what's comfortable for you. And then when you put your penis inside, you have to use the oils. Please use the oils. Please, please, please put the oils on first and then put it in. And that way you can start to enlarge the penis and get the penis to reach a certain height. Now, I heard a story that some guy, one doctor told me this, he actually did this as a young man. I'm saying as a teenager. 30 years later, he comes and it goes plop, and there it is. Huge, humongous, just by using the pump. Now, is this a true story? I was just told that by a doctor, so I'm just letting you know it's a true story. But I think it's amazing because guess what? It's an exercise. It will enlarge the penis over time, especially over years. And if you're able to have good testosterone levels, I'm always big into testosterone levels, then imagine that testosterone level is good for muscle building, and it will actually help you enlarge the penis very nicely over time. Now, not only does it help enlarge the penis in terms of muscles, but blood flow helps stimulate blood flow. Now, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter whether you are having a problem or not. This can actually help get you enlarged and get you harder. Now, remember, use the oil and then put the oil on the penis, put the penis inside, right? And when you put the penis inside, you're now, with the oils, of course, so it's lubricated, going to use the pump, and you're going to enlarge that penis like that, okay? There is a device, you leave it for 10 minutes, and then there's a device on your machine, and it takes it down, takes the pressure out of the pressure gauge, and then you can actually take the penis out, and then actually put a ring, right? A ring on the base, and then keep this enlarged, right? It was enlarged by the machine, the pump. You put the ring on, a little bit of a bubble there, but you put the pump on, right? And then that pump, the ring will actually keep this hard for a longer time. And my point is that you really want to use the ring because the ring will keep your penis not only enlarged but firm. And then imagine hitting that G-spot. That, right? That's the point. I used to think that was for people that had problems. Now, I really do believe, again, my personal opinion, that any man that wants to enhance not only their size, but their sensation, because now when you go into the vagina, you're going to be able to fill the vagina up more, right? Because it's a little bit more ballooned, and you'll be able to feel more. I'm telling y'all, this is something I found out recently, and it was delightful for my patients that do use it. And I'll tell you that more than my patients use it, okay? So again, think of using the pump in two ways. One, as an everyday practice in terms of enlarging that penis, in terms of exercise. And also, after you get it enlarged, again, be gentle. If you need some advice, talk to your doctor, because there are medical reasons why you might not be able to do it, right? But put the ring on it at the base, keep it enlarged, keep it hard, so that you can also enjoy hitting that G-spot, right? And feeling her better. Because remember, if you're bigger, you can feel the vagina much better and have more pleasure and live longer. Because remember, I said 2 orgasms a week, you live longer. Studies show if you have 2 orgasms a week, whether through masturbation or through sexual intercourse, just the experience and all the good stuff that comes from it makes you live longer. Okay? All right, that's enough for me today. I'll see you next time. I hope that was helpful. Okay, guys? Take care. Have a good night. Bye.